What's good? What's going on, y'all? Y'all tuning in with Prime Media, where people recognize one man entertainment. And I'm joined by Brian Maxwell, pro fighter, MMA, boxing, bare knuckle fighting, and Muay Thai. Brian, how you doing, man? Tell the people what's up.
I'm doing pretty good, man. I actually just got home not too long ago. My son had wrestling practice, and then, I had to get to my training, so I'm in fight camp right now, and I'm, 5 weeks out from a fight. So yeah, I've been doing that.
Where'd you come from? You said you just got back. Where you coming from?
I train at a gym that's close to me. It's called Round 30 MMA slash Big Lick Boxing, and I also train in another boxing gym. It's called Powerhouse Boxing Gym. So I get it in.
All right. And you mentioned your son's a wrestler. So I mean, you had to have been a wrestler with this fighting background, Muay Thai, all that stuff. You used to wrestle?
Yes, sir. I started wrestling when I was 13 years old, and it got me all the way to wrestling in college.
What weight class? I used to wrestle. I wrestled for 9 years.
When I first started, I wrestled at 125, and then my second year wrestling, I blew up a little bit, and I started wrestling 152. And then when I got to high school, I wrestled 140, 145. My junior year, I wrestled 152, and then my senior year, I was going to wrestle 152, but we needed another person to fill a spot, so I bumped up a weight class and wrestled 160 instead my senior
Okay.
year in high school. And then when I
Okay.
got to college, I wrestled at 174.
Never fearing the challenge. Ain't never feeling the
Never.
challenge. So when you transition from wrestling to a sport like fighting is two different, well, besides MMA, between bare knuckle and boxing, you're more stand up and just using your hands. When I watch you fight, I don't know if this is fair to say, but the way you like lean in, it's almost like you're using that wrestling background. Was it hard to transition from being a wrestler to doing a straight up boxing and not being able to use your legs and grapple around stuff?
I mean, it's I guess I should say it's a part of the game, and it's a part of transitioning. And just like I know, when you're a hardcore wrestler and wrestled most of your life, it's something that never goes away ever. And
Never.
transitioning to anything else outside of that, of course, it's going to be hard. But you work that much more harder. You feel what I'm saying? So I mean, it was kind of hard to changing myself to a stand up guy, learning kicks and learning how to throw my hands, because I got into some fights when I was a kid, but street hands are different than MMA and boxing hands. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to talk about that. I'm so glad you said that because a lot of people, when they're watching fights, or when I sit in, you watching a group of fights, or you watching a fight with a group of people, right? Y'all sitting in the house is watching the fights, and you got people going, oh, he's going to win because he's big. You, as a fighter, can speak, and a former wrestler, size doesn't matter. It's an advantage point, but that stuff doesn't matter in the fight. It's all about what's up here, your
Big
speed and stuff
facts.
like that, right?
Yes, sir. It's definitely when it comes to the fight game, size does not matter. I mean, one guy might be bigger than the other guy, and at the end of the day, it falls on who's better that day, because sometimes the smaller guy will win, and sometimes the bigger guy is more knowledgeable and more dominant that day. So
Mm-hmm.
it's at the end of the day, everybody's got a puncher's chance, and
Facts.
so that it kind of evens itself out.
And that's one thing when I watch some of your fights from the bare knuckle. I watch a lot of your bare knuckle matches I can find on YouTube because I don't know a lot about the sport. And that's one thing I want to question you about because everyone sees the UFC, everyone sees Showtime, PBC, and the big boxing events. But bare knuckles and fairly new. What got you into doing that? No gloves, just tape on the hands, and
I mean, it. I had a teammate. They gave him a call, and he got on one of their cards, and you know I got a buddy. His name is Reggie Barnett. He was on their very first show ever, and so he fights out of Virginia, and to support him, I watched the show, and I thought it was interesting. I liked it, and then their second event that they had, they gave one of my buddies, who's an undefeated fighter, a call, and his first fight was against Kendall the Spider Grove, who
mm,
fought in the UFC and in Bellator, and he asked me to help train with him a little bit more, and to actually corner him. So I took that as a blessing to corner him for the fight. And
Yeah.
we got there, and the atmosphere and the people were awesome. So I'm like, man, I wonder if I could be a part of this
Yes,
organization.
sir.
You know, people, like I said, when we got there, people just, drew to me automatically, and start talking to me like I was one of them. And a lot of them thought I was on the fight card. And at that point in time, I literally had just fought a Bellator vet 2 weeks before that, and ended up finishing him in a minute and 25. And I was like, no, I'm not fighting. I'm here with my teammate that's fighting. And
Right.
like, I'm not the type of person to try to take anyone's shine, but when they had all the cameras around and stuff, they were, putting the cameras on me, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm not fighting. He's fighting. But we got to the event. The fight started going on. I watched the first two or three fights, and I was like, oh snap, this is exciting. And after that, before I had watched it on TV, and then to be able to watch it live was a definitely big spark in my interest. And my teammate ended up fighting that night, and he lost a very close decision that night. And they offered me a fight that night. I was
Really?
like, oh. Yeah, they offered me a fight that night because one of the matchmakers, I kind of know him personally, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't no, since I know you personally, can you get me in? It was, he just offered it to me
Right.
out of nowhere. And at that point in time, I respectfully declined because I felt like it wasn't my cup of tea at that point, because I had been doing MMA for so long. And I had another organization, Professional Fighters League, recruiting me at that point in time, because they wanted to sign me at that point in time. And so
Yeah.
I was kind of iffy. So so months went by, and they had tryouts in Philly, and I was like, well, I guess I got a second chance, so let me go ahead and go to this tryout.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up going with another buddy of mine. His name is Kane Thomason, and a guy that I trained with out of West Virginia. His name is Rick Caruso. We ended up making the 6-hour drive and going to Philly and going to tryouts. And
Oh shit.
now I had a good showing at tryouts, and I had Anthony Rumble Johnson in my ear, hyping me up. So that was a cool highlight. And they let me know what I had to do after tryouts,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right,
they
for
would have
sure.
me after tryouts. And then they surprised me at my very last MMA fight that I actually fought at. They surprised me and offered me a fight right there in the cage, and I was like, yes, I accept right then and there.
Yes. Yes. Me and my buddies have a joke whenever we get offered an opportunity. It's yes. Oh, it's
Yeah,
great.
sometimes when it comes to opportunities, it takes me a few moments to let it soak in. And I go through the options in my head and to see if it's good or bad, or
Mm-hmm.
if I'm stuck in the middle. I'll get another opinion before I say yes,
I
because
respect that.
I mean, I'm a very big opportunist, and I love taking opportunities for the better. Sometimes whether they're good or bad, but if the good outweighs the bad, it'll only take me a few moments, and then I'm like, yes. But if
Yeah,
the
right.
bads outweigh the goods, I'll get a second or third opinion from my manager or my coaches. And if everybody is in agreement and tells me some positives about the bad that I was thinking, I'll end up
Yeah.
saying yes. But
Because at the end of the day, bro, everyone's gonna have those second guessers because it's your decision, it's your thing, and a lot of times you only can see one side because it's you in the shoes. Sometimes you don't need that third party access who has no emotion, no nothing tied to that thing to say, yo, this is what you're missing. I don't think it's good, or yo, go for it. Now, when you're transitioning into pro bare knuckle, you're like the mental aspect of it. You're going from a sport that goes from you have gloves on that are 10 ounce, 8 ounces, or 4 ounces from like MMA and stuff to no ounce gloves, just tape on the hands, hop in the ring, skin to skin, bare knuckles fighting. Like mentally, like did it cost you? Did it nerve you? Like did you have nerves? Did it kind of scare you of like the atmosphere, the risk of injury and stuff like that compared to the boxing and MMA?
I mean, high risk, high reward type deal.
Ooh, I
When I
like that.
first my very first bare knuckle fight, I had a great fight camp, and when it was time for me to come out, that's when the nerves hit me. Like I felt like it was my very first. I felt the same way that I felt when I had my very first MMA fight. Like I was so nervous. I was scared. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was scared. My whole time walking out, I was scared.
The butterflies are in there. Just
Yeah, my stomach got tight. I started pouring sweat, and I mean, I was nervous and scared, and asking myself, what did I just get myself into? And by the time I got into the square, like literally when I got into the squared circle and said my little prayer that I say every fight, and you
mm-hmm.
know tell myself thank you to all the people that who rode with me and
Right.
backed me during fight camp. My nerves went away, and I was in fight mode then, so it was serious then.
Do those do those nerves ever really go away when you fighting between boxing and MMA and you about to go into bright lights in the crowd, no matter how big? Like, do they ever really go away?
I mean, to a certain extent, like you if you're a fighter, you're gonna be nervous regardless.
Right,
If
right.
if you're not nervous before you fight, you're just a cold-blooded person and have no feelings at all. But you know,
That's right.
I think in any sport, before a game, a match, or anything, you have to be a tad bit nervous, because at the end of the day, you want to win and be number one.
Right.
But at the end of the day, those nerves kick in, and you gotta get to that point where you can control those nerves.
hmm Now, obviously, once you hit the ring, I feel like all the nerves are there before the fight. Once you're like in it and you do your prayer, you do your pre-match ritual, it kind of fades away because now at this point, adrenaline's kicking in. You're in survival mode essentially. When you're in bare knuckle, does the training differ than you would like a boxing match? Because I feel like the stances are the same. Orthodox southpaw. Keeping a stance, like, is it the same, or like how does your training differ from when you would box versus bare knuckle?
I mean, it stays the same for me.
Okay, it stays the same.
It stays the same, but some things I change up. Like sometimes, I'll go hit the heavy bag and spar with my bare knuckles to start getting my knowledge of range and distance
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Because when you got a padded glove on, or like the mitts, like we wear, like a MMA glove or a big boxing glove, the distance changes. You know what I'm
I
saying?
never
But with
thought
bare
of that.
knuckle, yeah,
My bad to cut you off. I never thought of that. Continue. I'm sorry.
yeah. But that to me was one of the biggest things about transitioning is distance.
Mm-hmm.
But like in my fight camps, I work on my distance. I've actually been working on my distance a lot more here recently, and it's doing wonders. I don't know if you watch my Instagram lives sometimes, when I go to Instagram live every
You were
once in
just
a blue
live the other
moon.
day.
Yeah, I was at the gym with one of my buddies the other day, and I changed a few things up because I've noticed a few mistakes in my forward bare knuckle fights that have hurt my game, and I'm not that kind of person that I've showed in those 4 fights, and
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of got back to the person I used to be before I signed with bare knuckle, and it's definitely going to show in my next fight in the next 5 weeks. So
Yeah.
it's been gracious, man. I've had a great fight camp so far. I'm on track with my weight cut, and I'm just very excited about this next fight, because, like I told one of my teammates the other day, it's time for me to eat now. I fought
Yeah.
every person I fought in bare knuckle
I like that.
ranked, is ranked in the top 3 in 3 weight classes that I fought in. And like I told my teammates the other day, it's time for me to eat now.
Right. Right. Where do you want people to see as Brian Maxwell the type of fighter? Like, how do you want people to remember you fighting as a fighter? Like when they bring Brian Maxwell to the table in the conversation about fighting, what do you want them to say about you?
First of all, I already know what they're going to say. For the first thing, hey, he's the guy that fought Chad Ochocinco Johnson. That's gonna be the first thing that they say. But I always want people to say that this guy always worked hard because I don't post a lot like I used to, but I post sometimes with me training and go live with me training. I want them to say that this guy took everything that he had and busted his ass in training and
Right.
never gave up and kept his eye on the prize. You feel what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I want people to talk good about me. Some people are going to talk bad, but at the end of the day, all that matters to me is that when I'm done and finished with doing bare knuckle MMA or anything else that I'm doing, that my son looks up to me and is proud. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I respect that. And watching some of your interviews, especially during the Ocho fight, those press conferences when they had you guys on stage, and the one time when Chad got pissed at that reporter or that coach or whatever he was like a coach or something. He said he represented himself or whatever he said. One of the guys were asking you, they had a shot of you. You were laying back here, the bare knuckle shirt on. You were really relaxed. You weren't cocky. You weren't arrogant. You weren't loud. You were answering the question. And one guy, I think you said, he asked you, like, when are you going to knock Chad out or something like that? Like, what round? And you're just like, I'm looking to have fun. It's looking to be a good time. Like, you didn't want to disrespect. I saw how you didn't want to. I saw what the media was doing. Now, for you as a fighter, when you're on stage, no matter who it is, no matter what the event, the caliber player you're going up or a fighter you're going up against, what's like the first on your mind when you see the media trying to paint that narrative or try to draw that, like getting arousal out of you guys on stage while everyone's there? Like, what is your thought process as a fighter when you first hear that?
My thought process is very, very, very quick. I've always been a quick thinker and a quick talker. I've gotten myself out of many situations, but when the media portrays that and does that, I already have it in my mind before I even get to the media or before I do any interviews with the media and stuff, and that I'm going to be cool, calm, and collective. I may talk depending on the opponent, I may talk a little bit of trash, or I don't get too disrespectful, but it's the fight game. I may talk a little bit of trash, but most of the time, man, I'm pretty humble and I'm good with answering questions, man. Like,
yeah, I could see that.
Especially with the Chad fight, man. There was no disrespect on my end at all because, like I tell everybody and everybody around me knows that, Ochocinco is like my favorite football player of all time, period.
Right.
And there was no disrespect or ill will towards him at all, and I wasn't going to go up there and disrespect that man like that when he's an all world athlete and a future Hall of Famer, which he is this year is a Hall of Fame ballot for the year.
Yo, I agree.
My bad.
Ocho's a Hall of Famer. I'm saying it now. I remember when he was on Undisputed with Shannon Skip arguing why, dude, he's a Hall of Famer. Like you, I grew up watching Ocho, but my favorite guy was Megatron and Moss when I was watching. Ocho was up there, but those are my favorite receivers to watch. But Ocho always had my respect. Now you get to watch him. How did that phone on I Am Athlete? He said, he got a call from Floyd Mayweather himself or Leonard Ellerbe, one of the two. The money team called him up and said, how would you like $1 million to go fight on the card? That's how he presented, how he got his opportunity to fight. How did you get the call, or did you work that? Like, what happened on your end that said, yo, Brian, you want to fight Ocho on Mayweather card? How'd that get brought up?
Man, the whole ordeal, like it still baffles me to this day, even after the fight. Like it's a whole crazy situation. Like I'm on I leave Virginia to head to Alabama for the bare knuckle fights because they're holding up the bare knuckle fights in Birmingham, Alabama. So I leave on the 8-hour drive, and I'm like halfway there, and all of a sudden I get a message from Chad. I'm like, man, Chad Ochocinco Johnson messaged me on Instagram. The hell type of shit is this? Because he hit me up and was like, Brian, I need your help with something. And at first I'm like, man, this is spam because it's sometimes on Instagram you get people blowing you up in this spam or they're trying to sell you something and and the third. And I already followed him on Instagram anyways. I'm like, damn, why is Chad Ochocinco Johnson messaging me. And so I messaged him back when I stopped to get gas. And I was like, is this really Chad Ochocinco Johnson messaging me? And he was like, yeah, man. Who else would it be? I was like, I don't know, but I don't believe this is Chad
That's great.
Ochocinco Johnson. And, I got back in the car, started driving again. And, I get an Instagram call. I didn't know it was from him. So, I kind of let it ring and I missed the call. So I get to Alabama and I look at my phone. It was him that called me on Instagram, and then he sent me a video to prove that it was him. He was at a daughter's track meeting, and I was like, I started freaking out at that point in time. I was like, oh my God, Chad Ochocinco Johnson really messaged me. So it's going through my head. Why is he messaging me? And so I didn't think nothing of it after that. So I got busy with the fights, talking to fans and taking pictures and signing autographs and stuff down there at the fights in Birmingham. And
Right.
then I cornered a guy down there. And so, like I said, I didn't think nothing of it after the fights. And then the next day, I end up messaging him back on Instagram. I was like, hey, sorry about last night. I missed your call and your message. And, I got busy with the fights. And he's like, call me. And I was like, oh, shit. He told me to call him. So I messaged my active front manager. I tell her that, call this number to see if this is really Chad Ochocinco Johnson. And she was like, I'm not calling that number. He's going to think, I'm a stalker or something. And I was like, all right, just don't worry about it. So I drive back and get home. And, like I said, I don't worry about that for the rest of the day. And this is on a Sunday because I drive back on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So Sunday goes by. I'm still sitting here wondering why he messaged me. I didn't think to call him or text him. So the next day I'm at work. I'm doing my thing at work. And, manager texts me and is like, we got a big opportunity. Do you know why Chad was messaging you? And I was like, no, why? And then, I talked to her and she was like, well, so here's what's going on. You got a big opportunity to fight Chad Johnson. And I'm like, what? No way. You gotta be kidding me, right? She's like, no. And I was like, all right, well, I'll talk to you later. So I called, my peoples at Bare Knuckle to see what was really up with it. And they told me, and I had already had a Bare Knuckle fight lined up for that same month that the Chad fight was.
Mm-hmm.
After I talked to them and they gave me the good positives and the pros of the fight, and so I was like, you know what, let's do it. I'm down. Let's take this opportunity. And then after that, I called my striking coach
Mm-hmm.
and told him about it. And he couldn't believe it. And I was like, yeah, man, this is crazy. Like, I actually cried a little bit, man. And it takes something super emotional to make me cry. And I actually shed a couple tears over that, man, because I was like, man, I've been waiting for an opportunity like this to do something big. And it's on a Floyd Mayweather fight card.
Right.
And that's crazy to believe in itself, because I say about 6 years ago, I posted on Facebook that one day I'll be fighting for Floyd Mayweather, because what had happened? I had won a contest that he done, and I got the money team socks and a hat and the shirt in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
And so I posted it on my Facebook and was like, one of these days, one day I'll be fighting for Floyd Mayweather. And that instantly, after all that happened that day, made me think about that. And I was like, oh man, this is crazy.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be my promo clip right there. The manifestation you did it 6 years ago. I'm just gonna let you know that's gonna be my promo when I upload on Instagram. He manifested that 6 years ago. That's crazy. I couldn't imagine. Like, just thinking about it, you get the DM, Chad hits you. Like, you just see at the top, you get a notification. Swipe over, Chad. What? Open it. Shit, you better than me. You way better than me. You handled that way better. I would have saw a phone number call. Yo, Chad, is this you? That would have been me.
Yeah, man. Like my fanboy, really wanted to kick in, but like I said, at the same point in time, on Instagram you get fake bots and stuff,
You get fake bots,
somebody's account gets hacked,
right.
or somebody's account gets hacked or something, and then you're like, oh man, that's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's crazy, and that must be even more special. The fact that, like, he, like, in a sense, knew your name because he reached out to you.
Yeah,
Like, you know, he
like
went on Instagram, Brian Maxwell. Yo, bro. Like, that's crazy to say, like, your idol knew your name before and you didn't have to say nothing to him.
yeah, it still baffles me like how my name even got brought up into the conversation about the opportunity or who mentioned my name. Like I am still trying to figure that out to this day. Like, you know, I even asked Floyd, I asked Chad, you know, I asked my people that bear Knuckle, how did this happen? And
Mhm.
I'm still baffled.
Right. No, dude, that's insane. Like, I can't even believe that. And it's one of those like rare opportunities where someone's like working really hard and then that one thing just drops in their lap. But like that story is you can't draw it up any crazier. You grow up watching this guy, you have an idol. Your idol goes out his way and messages you and says, I want to put you on an event with one of the biggest fighters in the game, one of the best fighters in the game. Bro, just be on a Mayweather card itself. How was that? Like you're fighting on a Mayweather card, the Money Team Promotions.
Man, that man, first of all, it was a true blessing. Like, you know, like I said, manifestation, man, it happened.
It happened.
And like, I thank the man above every day for it, and I count my blessings. And being on that card, man, it changed everything for me,
Mm-hmm.
especially after I got to actually talk to Floyd on the phone, and I met him, and I met all kind of people that week that I was in Miami, finishing my fight camp for the fights and stuff. And man, it's something that I never thought that would ever happen in my life. I tell you that. And I don't know if you've seen my Instagram post. I posted it like last week or the week before last. I put up that, even though this is not the way I wanted to meet my idol, I'm very thankful for it.
Right, right. And I also noticed another post you posted. You had Terrell Owens in your camp, right? At one point, or is it just a workout session or something?
No, he was there. He was actually there at the fight supporting Chad, and I got to meet T.O. Like literally the second our fight was over, I walked over to T.O. Was like, "What up, T.O.?" And he's like, "What up, man? Congratulations, good job, good fight." And then after the fight, after we got back to the locker room and stuff, Chad texted me and was like, "Where you at?" And I told him which locker room I was in, and him and T.O. came in the locker room, and we chopped it up and talked and stuff. So that was
Yo,
awesome.
that's why. If you could see my room right now, there's a Deshaun Watson autographed jersey there and a Jerry Rice one right there. Football is my sport. So when you talk about guys like Chad and Terrell, I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Like the fact that like I'm like as hyped for you as you were for yourself. Okay, I can't say as hyped because you was on a different level probably. I'm saying over here, fangirling like with you. I'm like, yo, he's with T.O. and Chad. Like
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Marshall was there with him. Fred Taylor was there.
the whole
Man,
squad.
yeah, the whole squad for the I Am an Athlete podcast was there, to support Chad. And, I got to meet all those guys. And then after they did their first episode after the fights, they showed nothing but respect to me, man, and talked about me very well.
Yeah, I saw that. That's great. Like that must have been like just amazing. I'm assuming your kids probably heard that too.
Yeah, my son watched the fight, and of course, that's probably one of the first people that I call or talk to,
Mhm.
at the fight, if he's not already there at a fight. But like to listen to his reaction, man, like it was wonderful.
Right. Bro, that must be amazing. And you want him to be proud of you. Bro, I think the fact that you got how many people can say this? They go work hard in career in a craft. They go through three different areas of it, bare knuckle, MMA, boxing. They transition all around. They're very versatile in their game. Now you fight on the card with Mayweather. How many people can say they fought on Mayweather's card? All the boxers in the world, you know?
Yeah, man, like not many people can actually say that. You feel what I'm saying? And you know, I like, man, it's still crazy to me, like being on a fight card, and his fight card at that, and fighting my idol all in the same night, and
Mm-hmm.
being in the Miami Dolphins stadium.
You
Like
can't draw that up any better.
you can't. And like that was something on my bucket list, to be in Miami for something big. Like
Right.
Miami's been always been one of my favorite destinations. I had never been, until this year. But I went there, actually. I had a fight there, at one point earlier in the year, but
Mm-hmm.
I was only there for like 2 days, so I didn't get to go see anything or go anywhere big. It was still kind of in the quarantine era where everybody was still locked in tight, so I didn't get to experience much. But now I'm actually about to go back there for the fifth time this year, so
What's up,
it's been awesome, man.
dude? That's what's up. That's crazy. I mean, are you going back? Is your fight in 5 weeks in Miami?
Yes, sir.
Wow. When's the fight date? Let's look at the calendar. When's the fight date? Or is
It's
that not released yet? Is that not allowed
Friday.
to be released?
I mean, I can't release my opponent's name, but I can tell you the fight day. It's BKFC 20, I think 23, 24, one of those BKFC numbers, and it's back in Miami, November 12th. I got an opponent. I'm fighting at 185. I just can't name my opponent just yet until all the
Yeah.
paperwork is signed, dotted, and sealed, and sent back, and I gotta let them announce it before I can announce it.
That's crazy. November 12th, a Friday?
Yeah, it's on a Friday night.
That's crazy. Well, best of luck to you, my guy.
I appreciate it.
That's dope. Going right back to Miami. You got the fight in my Mayweather's card in Miami in the Hard Rock, and not to mention, Chad didn't look bad boxing for the first time like ever, and he only had a month or a few months to prepare for this fight. Like he didn't have a full. I'm not trying to give it like an excuse or anything, but like I'm pretty sure like you as a fighter, you guys have a certain time where you start camp. This guy just jumps into camp with
Hmm.
the Charlo brothers. What was it, 2 or 3 months before? Or I guess it's plenty of time for a fight, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
We had 5, 6 weeks to prepare for the fight.
Okay. Yeah, he
Yeah,
didn't look
we had six
bad.
weeks.
He didn't
Yeah,
look
but
bad.
you know, a lot of people don't know is if you follow Chad his whole career, you know that him and Floyd have been friends for a long, long time, and Chad's actually been boxing training for over 20 years.
Oh,
He
really?
he he trained with Floyd the whole entire time that he was in the NFL to stay in shape for football.
Oh shit, I
He
did not
just
know that.
had he had never had a fight before. He done sparring and all that good stuff before, but he just had never had a
So
fight.
he
And
had he had that subliminal subconscious of how to fight himself. So because he looked sharp for a guy who never had
oh
a
yeah,
fight in front of a crowd before. He looked really sharp. It impressed me. I was hyped to see it. I'm not gonna lie. I was more hyped to see that fight over Mayweather and Paul. I'm not gonna lie. Because you knew Mayweather and Paul
hey,
did.
that's what a lot of people said, man. Like a lot of people said we got fight of the night. Out of all the fights that night,
Mhm.
that me and Chad got fight of the night because it was the most action packed fight of the night.
And then there was yeah, that was good. The way he was quick, he looked good, and it makes sense now. You said he had the 20 years and stuff. Like, or not 20 years, but he had that fighting experience. I didn't know that. I'm like, yo, chat. I'm talking to my boys, like, he looks good. This guy didn't do this before. He looks good. He looked quick. He looks sharp. Like he looks like he could do it again.
Yeah,
Do you
and
think?
like even now, I talk to Chad at least 2 or 3 times a week now, actually, and he's actively training and boxing. I don't know if you ever look at his Instagram stories or him posting on Instagram, but he's actually in a gym almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I sent him a message the other day on Instagram. I didn't even send it through a text message because he's on Instagram more than he'll text you back quicker on Instagram than he will on his phone. But I told him, I was like, I see you hitting the gym early, my guy. Let's get it. And he's like, man, I'm trying to perfect this shit. I don't care if it takes me till I'm 60 years old. I'm going to perfect this. And he actually may fight again. I don't know, but I'm actually going to see him and finish my fight camp up in Miami, and he's going to be one of my training partners when I finish up my fight camp, and he will be with me at my fight.
Yo, that's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, that's crazy. You just built a great friendship with your idol. Not many people. Not I don't know anyone that says that. I don't know anyone that can say that personally. I don't know how many people can say that.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like the fight, man, it created a whole lot of opportunities for me. But at the end of the day, all those opportunities, they are greatly appreciated. But the thing that meant the most to me right now is, my idol is like one of my homies now. Because sometimes he'll hit me out the blue and be like, "What's good, bro?" or "Yo, what's good, fam?" or something like that. And I'll be like, oh shit, what up, dog? And it
Yeah.
created a bond and like a brotherhood, man. Like if I needed anything, I mean I don't need anything, but if I needed anything, he already told me. He got me, and that's just crazy by itself. You know what I'm saying?
And that's respect to Chad. That's respect to Chad. Shout out to you,
Sure.
Chad. If you ever see this somehow, if you watch my podcast, that'd be great. I would fangirl. I don't really fangirl anyway. I've covered events. I've been around celebrities, but like that'd be dope if I like shit like that, like what you did. Like I would fangirl over that, like you did. Absolutely,
Man, look, I wanted the fanboy so bad. Like when I
fanboy.
first
Yeah,
got
why am
to
I saying
see
fan?
him,
Oh my god.
but when I first got to see him at the press conference, man, like I wanted to, instead of us being in fight mode and doing all the media stuff, I wanted to just, show my fanboy and be like, man, oh my God, it's a pleasure to meet you. Holy shit, this is crazy. But I couldn't do that just because of the fight, man. But I wanted
You
to do
got some
that, you know what I'm
seriousness
saying?
to it.
Yeah.
Yo, that's wild. Dude, that's crazy. Like, I wouldn't be like, I just be like, yo, Chad, it's like nice to meet you. I don't want to make it seem like I'm a super fanboy. I'm like, I'm killing myself right now. But no, dude,
Yeah,
that's
man,
crazy. I'm just
it's
like,
still crazy to me. Like when we, like I said, like when we first met and we shook hands, like that's when the fanboy really wanted to pop out, but we knew what time it was. It was business time. You feel what I'm
business
saying?
time, right? Right. No, that makes sense, bro. I'm proud of you. Is there anything you want the people to know about where to find you, follow you, tickets to get your stuff, any gear, all that stuff?
Hey, you can definitely follow me on Facebook. Brian Maxwell, MMA fighter. Of course, you can look me up on Instagram. All you gotta do is type my name in, Brian Maxwell _12, and on Twitter. They made me make a Twitter just because of that fight, and you can find me at Brian Maxwell official on Twitter. And I got shirts out. Who is Brian Maxwell right now? And it's been a hot commodity so far, and name is still ringing bells. And I built a great relationship with Chad, so all that means the world to me, man.
Yo, I appreciate you coming on the show. It means the world to me. You're a busy guy. You have a schedule to attend to. You're in fight mode. You got camp going on. So I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come on the show. If you don't mind, I want to ask you like two questions off camera though, off air. But other
So
than
that's what's
that,
up, man. Hey, thank you. Most definitely, thank you for having me, man. I'm glad you hit me up, and we was finally able to set a good time, man. Because like I'm telling you, since after the Chad fight, man, I've been literally on the go at
and I
all
respect that.
times.
It's the grind, baby. It's the grind.
Yes,
You gotta
sir.
respect it. You can't be mad at it. You gotta respect it.
Yes, sir. And anytime you want to do another one, just hit me up. We can set something up, and we can get back on here and rock out again.
And I appreciate that. And I appreciate everyone for watching at home. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. You're tuned in to Prime Point Media, where people recognize one man entertainment. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to give Brian a follow. Be sure to tune in with his fighting career when you got coming up next. And we'll see y'all on the next episode.